hopefully I can remember how to start this thing.
Season 2, Ryan. Season 2, come on.
Season 2, that's right. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Hurdy Gurdy Cafe, an hour of interviews, music, and camaraderie. I'm Ryan, and I'll be your host along this crazy adventure through the land of the wheel fiddle. So strap in, and let's see what's cranking in the Hurdy Gurdy community today. Welcome back, everyone, to the Hurdy Gurdy Cafe podcast. This is season 2. I know it's been a while, but we have a really wonderful guest today to kick off this new season. Many of you know him and probably love him and have learned from him. Efren Lopez. Thank you for being here, Efren.
Thank you, guys.
And we also have Sergio Gonzalez with us. Sergio.
Hello, as always, I'm always here. I live here.
That's true, you are always here. And we're going to kick off today's podcast with one of the tunes that Efren chose, and this is Els Troubadours, right? Did I get that right?
Fantastic.
Okay, this is the group, and the name of the track. Can you share that with us, Efren?
This is a troubadour song by Troubadour Bernard de Ventador, and it's one of the of the most famous troubadour songs. It's called Cambé la Lauseta.
Excellent. Well, let's have a listen.
Tut mamon cor perdet se Lopez narcissus in la
Efren, why did you choose this track? How does it speak to you?
Actually, this is for me, it's like a kind of historical track, because it's actually the first time that I, at least consciously, I heard the Hurdy Gurdy track.
Ooh, wow.
I think this album was released in 1994, if I'm not wrong. But at the time, I didn't even know how this instrument sounds like. I mean, I just heard this sound, but without knowing. At the time, I wasn't even sure if it's a wind instrument or a string instrument. So it was quite obscure, no, the origin of this sound. And only a few years later, because I'm also a sound engineer, so Folk Band came to record in the studio in which I was working, and finally I could realize what was the artifact that was creating this amazing sound, and then I linked all these little pieces of information. But it was and it has a lot of value for me, this band and this record, because also one of my main influences is medieval music, and this was they were a Catalan couple, Maria Dolors Lafitte and Alfonso Encinas, and I really like their approach to medieval music. They were a couple that didn't come from academic background or something like that. So their approach was really fresh and very inspiring for me. And I had the privilege and honor actually to play with her, with the singer that you can hear here, actually until her death in 2007, I think. Mm-hmm. And I was playing for her last 4 or 5 years in this material life. I was playing with her, and it was like, for me, it was like a dream, no? Of course. Yeah. And I played also a little bit with Alfonso Encinas, and I got to meet him also with their daughter, Miriam Encinas. So I was really involved in this family and this circle of musicians.
So this was the first track for you that introduced you to the Hurdy Gurdy? Is that?
Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah.
And so nice.
Yeah, and especially, it's a very simple track. Actually, the Hurdy Gurdy is just playing the introduction, mm-hmm. and then it kind of disappears. But I don't know. For me, it was really deep, a very deep experience, and very magical. No, the sound was really magical, and still now this kind of color of Hurdy Gurdy, he was playing like something really simple. I know that he can play some more intricate stuff, but for that the song was just and in this case it was just a little introduction, with a quite kind of primitive sound, but for me it was like a trip, no, very trippy song. And of course, then the melody is amazing. I mean, the original troubadour melody is incredible. It's one of the highlights of troubadour music, no. So it put me in a new world. Not only, it was not only a window to the Hurdy universe, but also to medieval music and yeah, this kind of aesthetics as well. So
okay, it's nice because so you say that this was your introduction also to medieval music, Efren?
No, I had also some previous experience. Listen music, but the way they will perform this music and their approach was really appealing to me, because I found it more fresh, more connected to other tradition.
It's like a more folk approach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So they are not that extreme, for example, in terms of the instruments themselves. No, he plays like
Yeah.
a kind of lute shape. It's not like a really medieval actually Hurdy Gurdy, or he plays like a mandola, which is a quite recent instrument.
Yes, of course.
But I never cared about that. No, I like also some other bands that are more
More academic, eh?
more academic, and I do play with this kind of bands sometimes. I enjoy also this really disciplined approach, not to only to use really historical instruments, but I like everything. No, so I like the totally experimental projects,
Nice.
the totally purist projects, and everything in between. So for me, the musicality and creativity is the key
So,
word. No?
mhm. Just for people to compare, would it be like more like to compare the both of the worlds? It would be like the Troubadours and Jordi Savall, for example, no?
Yeah, for example, I play actually also with Jordi Savall, who is considered to be the big master, no, and of early music. And actually, it's funny because actually now the sound that we all know about, of medieval music, is something that was created also. No? It's a trend that was originated in the 60s, maybe 50s, 60s, and some people helped to shape this aesthetics. And of course, Jordi Savall was one of them. Was probably the first like big name that dig into, for example, the viola da gamba repertoire, and he created a way to arrange this music. No, because when you approach this repertoire, we don't have a lot of information. You have just some obscure scores that not a lot of people can interpret it. So, and then all the rest is something that have to be created by the performers. And this school, I mean, this guy created a school, no? Jordi Savall on all his generation. But then, I mean, sometimes I also like to take these melodies as a source of inspiration, and just play with them in the as a game, no? As something more open and I mean, I always want to somehow to how to say that, to evoke the same feelings of the original pieces, but in order to do that, you might need to arrange the pieces in another way, like more innovative or more. And for me, musically, music is basically a path to explore your own creativity. So whatever you play, I mean, or whatever I play, I try to put a bit of myself, no, not from the point of view of arrogance or narcissism, but because I think this is the art. This is what means art, no? So when you give you have your own voice, whatever you do.
Mm-hmm. And I've got a quick question for you. You and you are one of the main inspirations for me personally to get interested in the Hurdy Gurdy. And that came one day when I was sitting in a chair and I was looking through these videos, and I found your video. I believe it was the Kopanica, where you're up on a mountaintop. And your hair is blowing back and it seems so amazing. And I thought, I want to feel like that when I play music, because it just looked so powerful and the tune itself was brilliant. So my question to you is, when you play that stuff, do you feel like that?
I mean, personally, some of the advantages of playing many instruments and many styles of music is that you can explore different aspects of yourself, no, as a human, and I think I'm able to enjoy music in many different ways. Mm-hmm. But one of those ways is really, for me, Hurdy Gurdy. Sometimes the power I feel when I play it is really I don't know, it's so uplifting, no? And I think it's something that you can explain. I mean, a lot of people feels that, even as you said, like just by listening to this music, no. But then the next step is when you have the opportunity to play the instrument a little bit, and this like this continuous sound. I think even for people that you know that are not even musicians, that they you know is probably you had the same experience many times when they come to our concerts. A lot of people ask about this instrument. I had even an experience with the Queen of Spain.
Wow.
It was so funny, no, because she was totally amazed by this instrument. And anyway, it's a long story anyway. But what I want to say is that it's an instrument that I think it creates these two opposite actually reactions. I have a lot of friends also that really hate it so much, especially people that. Especially one of my friends, he's a jazz guitar player. He's a really good guitar player, and he hates actually this thing of the continuous drone, no? Because for him, you know, the music is based on
harmony. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a completely different concept. Yes.
Yeah, so it's the opposite concept actually. So
even when you play it, he hates it.
Yeah.
He's like, stop playing that, Efren.
Yeah. He calls it the furniture. You are playing the furniture now.
Where is my C sharp diminished 7? You know.
But I think for some people, for example, a lot of children, no, like little children, get like mesmerized by this instrument, no, and even physically, no, because when you play a Hurdy Gurdy, you are actually hanging it, no, holding it in your belly.
Exactly.
And sometimes, and this is also something that this feeling is something that I try to not forget, because you know the first months that I got my first Hurdy Gurdy, you know, I used to just play the drone, no, and feeling like total happiness, no, like everything is okay. You know, there are no problems in the world. There is no starving people, no wars. Everything is fine. And even now that, of course, I have better skills than back then, but I still try to enjoy the pure sound of the instrument. I mean, beside it, you know, all the crazy things that we can do, you know, with the right hand and all the different tricks, but just as a timbre, as a pure sound. And this is something that in general, I like to explore from all my instruments, the pure sound, because this is many times the first, as I said before, our window to a specific style of music or instrument. So in the case of Hurdy Gurdy, this is really the impact of hearing, listening for first time the Hurdy Gurdy is always something that creates something strong in you, either good or bad, but it's always a strong experience, no?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always had the thought, in a way, like you're talking about here, that if more people played Hurdy Gurdy, I think it's got a very healing effect. You know, like you're talking about that resonation within the belly and that drone sound and all these things. And I've found that I can play my mandolin and I can play my guitar, but if I pick up the Hurdy Gurdy and I just get those drones cranking, hours can go by, and I think everything just feels good again.
You know, recently I was talking to a friend of mine, a very close friend, and he has a little daughter. She's like 5 months, and you know, and this little girl is like all the time like, crying and screaming. But what makes her like totally calm is the hair dryer sound.
What?
So I think all these continuous sounds, like especially like low frequencies and continuous sounds, have some effect. I don't know why. I really can't. I don't know the psycho, you know, the psychology behind that. But is a very common effect, no?
Mm-hmm. No. So how long have you been playing the Hurdy Gurdy then? So I'm assuming it was around the 90s that you started playing?
Yeah, I got my first instrument on 1998. Okay. So as I told you, I loved already this sound, but I didn't have any clue about, you know, which instrument is producing it. Is it? So later on, there was this folk band that came to our studio to record, and then I realized, no. So I was doing something else in the next room, and suddenly I hear the same sound. I was what? And I ran away from the other stuff I was doing, and I saw that the instrument actually was a Hurdy Gurdy from Cedo Garcia, Catalan maker. Yeah. the one that also Sergio plays. And so I did like 2,000 questions in 1 minute. What is this? And I think the same day or 2 days later, I just called Cedo and ordered my first instrument that it took nearly 2 years, I think, to be finished. And that's the story of my first instrument. Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the band?
Yeah, Traud de Tari. They were a band from, but actually the player had come. I feel very ashamed, but I forgot his name.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I feel so bad.
But we got it.
Yeah. But actually he came to play as a collaboration for another band. So he just played one track, and actually I sampled this the drone of this track, and I used it in so many tracks, before I got my own instrument. Yeah.
I mean, how fanatic are you about the Hurdy Gurdy when it comes to your own recording process?
So usually I don't use. In general, I don't use the Hurdy Gurdy as a secondary instrument.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I include Hurdy Gurdy in one of my tracks, usually is like the main instrument or the instrument on which I actually wrote the song. Mm-hmm. And it's like this the most of the times, I think, and only for some specific occasions I did some, I wrote some lines for the Hurdy Gurdy to accompany other instruments, or even to create some. Once, for example, I create like a kind of like like a string section, like string septet, actually, because we're like 7 tracks, so like kind of harmonies, like just trying to emulate like a string quartet, or in this case septet, because it was 7 tracks. But the most of the times is if I include Hurdy Gurdy, because the first idea came using that instrument. Yeah.
So you're saying that you use the Hurdy Gurdy at times, like creating almost like a multiple layers, almost like an orchestral sound. Is that, Can you give me which tracks come to mind that you did that? So because I want to go listen to them now.
Yeah, the most I think. You can listen the Helicopter, which is one song that I wrote for an album that we did with Stereos Petrakis and Vielle Shemirani in 2017. Yeah, okay. 4 years ago. And this is actually the album starts like this, with this Hurdy Gurdy harmonies, mm-hmm. And it sounds kind of like a church organ, something like that. It's like a seven layers of Hurdy Gurdy.
Yeah, excellent, cool.
Yeah, but the song, it was I wrote it actually using a totally different instrument, like ursas, which is a Turkish instrument. But I wanted to include some harmonies, and I don't play any piano or the only like a harmonic instrument I can play is like guitar or harp. Uh-huh. So, but I wanted this continuous sound, no?
Right. So where does your I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's okay.
I'm all these questions are coming to mind, so I'll give you a chance in a minute, Sergio. I think I know that I read that you have a fretless double neck guitar. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is the whole thing fretless, or is it just a 6-string?
No. It's a regular two neck double neck guitar, like this Epiphone, like It's like a Gibson SG guitar, double neck. So I kept the frets for the 12 string neck, and I removed the frets of the 6 string neck. But also the tuning is really low. I'm tuning it like G D G D G D.
Ooh, fancy.
And it's low G. It's almost like a range of a bass, electric bass.
And then also you use the Evo.
Yeah. Mostly I play it using the Evo. So it's a most of the people don't even realize that it's a guitar.
You're talking an Evo? Is that what you said? The thing that you hold on the pickup?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's very funny because our drummer, Adrián Perales. I mean, I play this instrument mostly in one of our projects. It's called AR, and the drummer is always making fun of me, because I have this double neck guitar, but actually I play one string the most. The biggest thing is like one string with the Evo, no? It's like, but you carry this huge thing, that is like 10 kilos. Anyway, I'm not the most practical guy, I have to say.
Hey, I think that just means you're a musician, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, should we take a moment to listen to the second track before we move on with our interview with Efren?
Let's do it.
Sound good? All right. So next we have a track by Patrick Buffard. And what is the name of this track again? Blackos Tienet?
Tienet? Yes, yeah.
Correct.
All right. Well, let's take a moment to have a listen. We'll be back with Efren Lopez. Okay. So welcome back, everyone, to the first episode of Season 2 of the Hurdy Gurdy Cafe podcast. We're here with Efren Lopez and Sergio Gonzalez, and we just got done listening to the second track that Efren had recommended that we feature today. So what could you tell us about this track, Efren? What does this mean to you? What do you love about this track?
It's again, I mean, all tracks I send you are like they were like my gateway to the world of Hurdy Gurdy. Mm-hmm. So also, I think this was the first. Once I knew what a Hurdy Gurdy is, actually, is one of the first albums I got, and it was like really traditional stuff. It was like just French, central French music, play with just one Hurdy Gurdy, like really really simple stuff, really minimalistic, but I enjoyed so much, and still he's one of my favorite players. This powerful right hand, and also the accuracy of all his ornaments. I'm really into that way of playing, like really traditional, really rooted somehow. And I never met him, actually, never met him.
Oh,
No, not yet. I hope to meet him one day, because he's one of my. I mean, after this introduction of troubadours and also other records, I had a lot of records of medieval music, but this more like folk style and really powerful, very rhythmic, was like wow, this is how I would like to sound one day, and so it was important for me in this sense also.
Do you feel like you pulled it off when you say that's how I want to sound one day? Do you
No. I wish. I really like this style, but I think each one of us, we all have like a different paths, and okay, I really admire him, but I'm something else also. I can't even try to sound like him, because it's really into this scene of folk dance, and which I love. But okay, I actually learned some of his repertoire, but just as a learning process, no. But I think I can't even aspire to be in that scene, no.
Nice.
And
so
this is something. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, and I wanted to say that this is something that I really liked from the development of this instrument over the last decades, is that when I start to go to workshops, Hurdy Gurdy workshops, everybody, I mean all the other students, we all came from a quite similar background, which was like either early music, what we call early music, or folk European music, no? And that was all. But now I'm very glad to see that there are a lot of people playing this instrument that come from totally different worlds, like people that never in their life listen to one medieval tune or a folk, and they don't care even. And some people see that as something bad. No, you have to know the roots of the instrument before you do your experiments. And I'm this kind of guy. I have to say. I mean, I really like to go to the deepest, as deep as I can into the roots of each instrument I play. But I respect also the other approaches. And I know some players. This Catalan guy, Grandia, Adrià Grandia, for example. This guy, I don't know him also personally, but I know that I never heard him like playing something medieval or folk, or it's like very experimental from the very beginning, I think. I don't know his work very well, but I like the fact that there's people like him, no? So it makes this it takes this instrument to another level of let's say normality, no? I mean, if you play guitar, nobody's asking you, to know the repertoire of the Renaissance and Vielle, or so you just grab a guitar and you do whatever you want. So I think that the same thing is happening with Hurdy Gurdy, and I don't see that as a negative factor.
Who was the person you mentioned again that was doing the experimental stuff?
Adrià Grandia.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Good. Sergio, you had a question.
So, yes, I was going to ask you, we were talking about Patrick Buffard, but who would you say are the players that influenced you the most while playing the Hurdy Gurdy?
For the Hurdy Gurdy,
they don't necessarily need to be Hurdy Gurdy players, because I know you take a lot from other backgrounds. Yes. Anyway, just tell us names.
Actually, yes. In my case, I was the first guy in all my region playing Hurdy Gurdy. So it was, I went to 3 or 4 workshops, like weekend workshops, but as a total beginner, I couldn't even follow, no, the different lessons. My first, imagine that my first workshop, Hurdy Gurdy workshop, was with Nigel Eaton. Imagine. And probably had my Hurdy Gurdy like 2 weeks, something like that, no? But in general, I think all these workshops, I mean, there is not a lot. I mean, you don't learn a lot in that time, in the weekend or the week you spend with your teacher. But for me, it's more like a source of inspiration, no? Because you have this guy playing in front of you for 2 whole days or 1 week, and you get so much, you really want to go back to your place and start to practice, no? And this is what happened to me. So in terms of my favorite players, I would say the most of them, I mean, in one sense, I really like guys that can really groove, no, with their right hand. Like I named also already Patrick Buffard, Nigel Eaton, of course. Also, Grégory Jolivet is one of my favorites. And for me, for example, these 3 guys are one group of. I know that they are very different. There are very big differences, but what I like from them is, the groove, the power, but then you have another group of equally great players like Johannes from Sweden. Toby Miller, no, people that have a different nature, a different quality, no, in other senses. I don't want to forget anybody that's important for me. Also, I play, as I said before, something that I really appreciate in music is when somebody can find his or her own voice, no. And for example, also Eleanor Fournier, she's not famous in the circle of Hurdy Gurdy players because she's mostly a singer. I play with her also, but she's a French girl, that never played. I think she told me once exactly that. I never played a bourrée in my life, for example, and she's French. But she spent a few years in Turkey learning Turkish music, and she's playing, Kurdish and Turkish folk music on the Hurdy Gurdy. So, and all. I mean, I when I met her, we actually met in Istanbul, and I felt that we have a lot in common, because also I learned, as Sergio said before, I think I learned the most of what I play on the Hurdy Gurdy right now. I learned it from people that doesn't play the Hurdy Gurdy, like Ross Daly. I mean, musicians from Crete or Greece in general, Bulgaria. Ivan Marimesov is a bagpipe player from Bulgaria, and I went to a few of his workshops. So he taught me a bit of the rhythms and the ornaments of the Bulgarian bagpipe. So I start to create my not consciously, something that now I realize that that I create my style by necessity, but because actually I was playing with them. So you have to kind of emulate this kind of ornaments and make this instrument fit in that style of music, no? Mm-hmm. So I can mention Ross Daly, of course. He's in general my teacher in capitals. And then Kelly Thoma, of course, his wife, and we played also many times together. Stelios Petrakis, who's like my Cretan brother, and some other musicians that are maybe less famous but equally important.
Just out of curiosity, I had a brief message conversation with Nigel one time, and he claimed that he's not a good teacher. Did you find that to be true? I don't have an opinion, because really back then I didn't speak one word in English. First of all, it was like 23 years ago, and at that time this association we have in Spain was really big. So we were probably like 30 students. Imagine 30 guys with really bad instruments, the most of them, and quite medium to low level of playing, trying to catch what he was saying. And I was like
like for a whole week, I was like in a cloud of noise and. So, but for me, it was an amazing experience, no, just to share this space with him and his approach, no, to the right hand work as a kind of percussionist. So this was the first time I could play next to other Hurdy Gurdy player. So it was really great. But yeah, I don't know if I learned a lot. From his playing, but at least I got a lot of inspiration.
No, I mean, I think what you're saying is so true with what you're talking about with inspiration. I mean, while I have not personally had the chance to participate in any workshops like that, I mean, like I said, watching your videos, watching Andrei Vinogradov's videos, watching Nigel's videos, just seeing that, and then trying to play it, and trying to play one or two tunes of yours. Even when I get just a little bit of it down, it pushes me to say, wow, if I can get that little bit, I can't wait until I get the rest of it. So it's all inspirational, and I can see how that would be good for people. And
sorry.
My next question really is, how do you see are the workshops that people are able to attend now, the gatherings that people are able to attend now to learn, are they significantly different than they were when you were getting started? Does it seem to have the same kind of vibe, same kind of scene?
Yeah, no, they are quite different. First of all, you can get students. I teach quite a lot in over the last 6 or 7 years. I gave few workshops here in Spain and Germany as well, also Belgium and the Netherlands. And first of all, yeah, we are more organized. I think. I mean, we the teachers. I mean, the scene is bigger, so we are. We start to build a kind of, even in Spanish, I can't
okay.
methodology, of teaching, but I think when somebody comes to your workshop, it's because they like you, they like how you play, not only the instrument. So first of all, you feel kind of safe, because I mean, what you are is something that they like, which is quite important. So it's not, we are not teaching something that is like impersonal. It's something very personal, actually, a personal approach to this music. And this is something that I learned after a few workshops. So in the beginning, I was really embarrassed not to I prepared a lot of material, but then I realized that what people wants to learn from me is what I do. So I'm not worried about teaching, more theoretical stuff or more general information, but just what I do. So what I do that others don't do, and this is what I try to teach. I mean, I don't teach scales or little exercises that you can learn by yourself or without other teachers. I teach stuff that I know that not a lot of people can teach, or so. Yeah. And in this sense, it changed a little bit, I think, the approach over the years.
And may I ask real quick, if you don't mind, how old were you when you first started playing?
I was 26.
Okay. Well, I keep trying to think. I keep trying to project into the future. Like, well, how much time do I have? And I'm a little bit older than that.
No, but with the Hurdy Gurdy, I felt that I mean, my learning process was not straight at all. I mean, it was like a high peak in the beginning, because all the excitement but first of all, I don't consider myself as a Hurdy Gurdy player or a oud player, but my main thing is like composition, arrangements, and creation in this sense. So the reason I played the Hurdy Gurdy, I think, is because I didn't have any Hurdy Gurdy player around. So if I wanted to include the instrument in my music, the only choice was to learn it by myself. So in the beginning, I learned enough to feel that confident, to be able to play all the ideas that came to my mind. So this was maybe the first 3-4 years. Then I feel that I had a kind of stability. I was okay, but then I start to to listen also more advanced players and to see Germán Díaz here in Spain. No, this guy is a total monster. No? I mean, nobody can play what he plays. No? And so you see other. You take more perspective, no, like on what is possible to do with this instrument, and then I think I went a step forward. I feel, no, like maybe, or also when I started to play with Stelios Petrakis and Ross Daly, it was like a big, ¿cómo es un incentivo in English?
Incentive, I guess.
It was encouraging me to learn new stuff and to not repeat myself, and actually it took me a long time to start to write to write music for Hurdy Gurdy. I mean, all the previous music I have even played on my Hurdy Gurdy was, just melodies that I have written with using other instruments, and then I will try on the Hurdy Gurdy, and I like them. But actually, the first track or the first song I wrote on Hurdy Gurdy was in 2010, after 12 years of playing the Hurdy Gurdy.
Oh,
okay, very interesting.
Which track was that?
It's called Hortus Deliciarum. It's included in Maura Frudia, one album that I did with Stelios Petrakis and Bijan Shemirani. Mm-hmm. And this was the first time I wrote consciously. I said, okay, let's write something for Hurdy Gurdy and Lira, because I really like this combination. I had tried it already with Ross Daly and Kelly Fama, but when this idea of doing a record with Stelios Petrakis came out, I said, okay, I have to find something to play with this guy, because he's so skilled, and I want to take advantage of this. No?
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, so maybe can we get to the geek part of the interview? Can you tell us a little bit about the Hurdy Gurdys that you own? I know you have worked with Cedo Garcia. You own like 2 or 3 instruments by him, also Reolit, Hillsman. Yes. Can you talk a little bit about the instruments that you own?
So my very first instrument was very similar to what you have there, Sergio. The lute back Cedo instrument, and I was really happy with this instrument. I mean, I got it 1998, sorry, and I sold it in 2005 because I had the Hillsman, no? Because I got the Hillsman, so it was no place for more instruments. But also after a few years, after few years of playing this Cedo, I got another instrument from Cedo, like this trapezoid,
yes.
Instrument, which is more like historical, accurate for medieval and Renaissance music. And actually, this instrument I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy playing this instrument. It's of course another kind of animal. Let's say, if you compare it to the Sebastian Hillsman instrument that I own now, and I still have this instrument. It's only that I gave it to my stepdaughter a couple of years ago because she's playing also a little bit. And so nowadays at home I have only the Sebastian Hillsman instrument. And also this more experimental instrument that
this is nice.
the Jesus Reolit made for me, and it's very funny because is a kind of stupid, no? The way I ordered it, because I saw one post of him on Facebook, and he didn't write anything. He just posted a drawing of this instrument, which is actually is a copy of a medieval instrument found in Aragon, here in Spain, and it's this fretted Hurdy Gurdy, right? So you have the crank, and then you have a neck, like a Vielle neck. It's really nice. And I have no idea of how it sounds, of what you can do with that, but it took my curiosity immediately. So I asked him, Jesus, what is this instrument about? And he told me, Efren, I don't have idea, but but I have no idea. But I'm making this for a client, and if you want, I can make another one for you at the same time because it won't take much longer than just making one. I told him, okay, why not? Let's see, let's try it. And when it's funny because when he finished the instrument, he told me, Efren, this instrument is useless. Is a
Come on.
is a piece of so is I mean, there is nothing you can play.
Okay. And
I
if then goes like challenge accepted,
So I told him, okay, send it, and we will try something to do with. And actually, I'm playing quite a lot, but it's true that in the beginning I try to play it in a similar way of what the similar kind of things that I will play with a regular Hurdy Gurdy. But actually, after some tries, I found a totally different way to use it. So I'm playing it more like a. Actually, it sounds more like a Middle East instrument rather than a Western Europe instrument. You can play also cantigas and this kind of stuff, and sounds like a kind of fiddles or something like that. It's a really, really cool instrument. Yeah.
So it's an instrument that you.
Do you have it in the room?
You crank
you can show it to us.
Do you have it there?
Yeah, sure. If you wait for just
Sure.
It's worth it, right? Like to see the instrument, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I had a dream 3 nights ago that I ordered a Hurdy Gurdy and that someone sent me a guitar that had a crank on the bottom of it. And I thought to myself, well, this is an interesting design. Is that what this is?
It's close. I'm making one. Yes. I got, fascinated by that one. Look at that.
There it is.
It's not you or
whatever, but I think it's very interesting for people that do not know the idea, just to see how it.
How many strings are on that? 4?
4, but usually I don't use more than 2 at the same time.
Okay.
Because then the thing here is that you have a kind of four melodic strings, let's say. So if you can use one of them as a drum, but it sounds like too loud. So it's like a kind of.
So you can take one. You can take the strings on and off like on a Hurdy Gurdy.
Yeah, like.
Okay.
Okay, but most of the times I use only one string actually. So.
Sounds great.
Sounds like somehow like a lira or something.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yes. Now. Yes.
It's a different universe. So, I mean,
yes. Are the frets movable, adjustable?
Yeah. It's
nice.
It's like a medieval Vielle, no? I mean, there are God frets made out of God, and also I don't know if you can see it. There are like quarter tones that I add.
Yes, you can play Ushak and
Makam music, like a Middle East. So it's a
fantastic, isn't it? Now. Yes, go.
No, the original instrument in the painting. This was found in a painting somewhere in Aragon. I can't remember in which church. The neck was quite shorter. It was like just a fourth or a fifth, but we made it just longer to have more options.
And it uses cotton on the strings, just like a Hurdy Gurdy too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
Huh. Wow, it sounds wonderful when you play it. It doesn't sound like a piece of shit to me.
No. Actually, after a few months, when I got it, I sent a video to Jesus, and Jesus called me. My eyes are in tears. It's so emotional because you managed to play some music on it, And also we include also sympathetic strings that I really like. I use them in many instruments. So it's now they are totally out of tune. So, but it gives a very nice resonance, extra resonance to the instrument.
And what's the volume like? Is it a loud instrument or a soft
No,
instrument?
it's not very loud.
Okay.
But this is kind of a prototype. I mean, it's the first he made actually. So I hope we can develop it a bit. No, now this is supposed to be a historical instrument, but now I would like to do something similar, but having
like a modern approach.
Find this approach, just something new. Yeah. Actually, we were talking about that with Sebastian Hilsman also.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe one day we will come out with something.
Wow.
Crazy experiment.
And now everybody wants one.
Yeah, I want one.
With the podcast.
And I want to. What's the instrument called again?
We call it like fretted instrument. I mean, there is no specific fretted Hurdy Gurdy. I mean, it's like a.
Okay. Well, I want a fretted nerdy gurdy hurdy gurdy.
Okay.
But I mean, historically there is no specific name for that instrument. Different to sinfonia or organistrum or whatever. Yeah.
What with your hurdy-gurdies, do you have a particular tuning that you use, or do you have multiple tunings over multiple hurdy-gurdies? I'm just curious.
Now, I mean, the 90% of the time I play the Sebastian Hilsman hurdy-gurdy, which is tuned in low G, just really, really low. I mean, the low chanter, and then basically my tones are like nearly chromatic. I mean, I can set them in different ways, but I play mostly in C, D, G, A, E. Also, I mean, nearly every tonality. And this is also something that in the beginning is amazing, because the first years of when I start to play the instrument in my former band Lame de Folk, I was so limited. I mean, my playing was so simple and limited. So I couldn't even play, for example, scales like Do minor, C minor. Sorry, I couldn't play C minor. So I used to tune for each song the chanters differently. In the middle of the concert, no, it was a hell.
And then,
sorry.
No, I say, and then what happens is that when some of my students want to learn the Copanizza that you play with Lame de Folk, they try on their own, tune to G, and they go like, this is impossible, and I go like, tune to A, come on, tune to A.
But actually, my first, I was playing a lot with Eduardo Navarro. He's a Dolzaina player. He's a kind of traditional sound that we have here in Valencia. And this instrument is tuning, the lowest note is A, so they play mostly D major. So I tune this was my standard tuning, like A. Instead of G, a step higher. So I use this tuning for many years. A tuning.
Okay. Okay.
I know that it's not so common in hurdy-gurdy world, but for me it was working for many different projects. But when I had to play C minor, I just will tune in the B flat and playing and so really cheating all the time. I was cheating all the time.
Do you play or have you played any tunes in F sharp minor?
Probably. I think I have played because also depending on which style of music you play, so in some traditions, they use certain tonalities more than others. So at the end, but for me now it's not a problem. Once you get rid of these limitations, then okay, you just see a bunch of notes one after the other and just play them. No, you don't. For me, now it's not. And actually, hurdy-gurdy is one of the instruments that I think is easier to play, in keys with a lot of accidentals, than in C major, because then you have more options for
Yeah.
for fingering, Oh, but in
So
the
let's.
beginning, sorry.
You go on.
No, no. I wanted to say that in the beginning it sounds like really scary to play A major or other tonalities, but yeah, just everything is here.
So let's play in Locrian and.
Well, I've only got one or two more questions left because we are getting close to our mark of time here. But Sergio, did you have any other geek questions to ask?
Go on. My geek side has been stimulated with the fretted Hurdy Gurdy, so you can.
Okay. Well, my final question, you mentioned this earlier on. Well, actually, two questions. So the first one you mentioned early on was when the Queen of Spain saw you play the Hurdy Gurdy. That was a long story. So my first question is, can you tell that story? And the second question, so I don't forget, is what advice would you give to beginners or people just starting to play the Hurdy Gurdy?
Okay. Maybe we'll answer first the second, because I think it's shorter.
That's fine.
First of all, my advice is to not listen to advices.
Oh,
What have you done? What have you done?
At least I'm very stubborn guy, and all my life I was really a few of them now without jokes aside is I think to have vision. It's very important to have your own vision. I mean, what you want to do with music, because something that I have realized is that we are. I'm sure that we share a lot of things like a different taste for specific styles of music, but also each one of us three have a different. I mean, we're in music into this world of music probably for different reasons. So I think it's very useful to find, first of all, why you play music and what what's your purpose as a musician, no? And I think when this is clear, even if in the beginning it's a bit blurry, blurry, but somehow to follow this little light in the end is it will help you to discern, what adds, what helps to follow your path and what not. And I think this is very important. This is beyond technical stuff but I think to know why you play music and why you want to do with this material, and just for me what I value the most in an artist and a musician is the personal voice. So to find this so and when you find that, I think it's not important if you play more notes or less. Is Bob Dylan, for example, is a horrible singer and even worse guitar player. Imagine, no? Who will put Bob Dylan as an example of singing or doing that? But he found his way to sing and play, And the same, and some of my favorite Hurdy Gurdy players. I don't like this word favorite, but the guys that I feel more connected with, Some of them they are not like fantastic, super technical players, but they say something that is very unique and personal. I think it sounds like a kind of the end of the road, but I think
like it, yes.
But I think we should find this. If possible, we should find. Sometimes you find it on your way. I was so lucky to know what I want to do with music from super early age. That and all other things in my life might be a big mess or whatever. But always music was like my path was very safe. I was feeling really safe in this road. No. And I don't know if I answered your question because maybe it's too philosophical, and also specifically for Hurdy Gurdy players, I understand the fascination, that this instrument creates, because it is even visually so cool to see it. But I will recommend to not stay there, to not stay in the surface of the instrument and just feeling that because you play Hurdy Gurdy you are a cool guy, no? Because this is only the you are just scratching the surface, I think. And I don't, as I said before, it's my personal view. I don't mean that everybody should be like this, and I really like people that is totally different to me. But my personal approach is I really like to go to the roots of everything I do. Even if you play metal, okay, I go to listen Black Sabbath, no? So so when I start listening Hurdy Gurdy, I had this self-taught teaching of early music, like medieval to baroque, and all, where is this instrument more alive I mean, keeping one tradition. France, of course, is the first territory that comes to your mind. Galicia, also here in the north of Spain, places where I think it's a bit stupid to not take advantage of the tradition, because the tradition is the knowledge of generations and generations of people that are adding knowledge and and ways to develop music. So I think it's very clever to, even if you don't want to play this music, but just to know a little bit of it, but this is very personal. I as I told you before, I really like people that had a totally different path, and still for me they are really good artists. So, but this is how I work.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, because in anything in life, you need to have that vision and that reason why. Otherwise, you're not going to do it very well.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just going to be superficial about it. So I think that's a
wonderful.
wonderful.
And I had a lot of this kind of crisis over the last decades, no? Because when you play a lot of instruments, sometimes you feel, and it's true, no, that if you play 10 instruments, you can't really go deep to in any of them, no? But then I realized that, okay, this is what I want. As I told you, I don't feel myself as an instrumentalist. Even it's more like all the instruments I play, the word instrument itself originally means tool, no? Instrument means tool. So they are just, for me, they are just tools to create like soundscapes somehow. Yeah.
Man, it sounds like excellent advice. Thank you.
It's fantastic. Yes.
Now what about the Queen?
Vasilisa.
Are you sure that because it's a bit long? I don't know.
Wait a minute, Sergio, what were you going to say?
Vasilisa Sofia.
Yes, the Queen Sofia.
Oh,
so
yes.
I will try to make it short.
Okay.
But it's a bit long. I mean, to know the context is a bit long. Well, I go. There. So,
okay, ready.
I used to play with a very this kind of academic bands. It's called Capella Ministres. I played with them for many years, but I mean, to be honest, I never felt like that this is my place, because everything was a bit too. It's not. I don't want to criticize them, but they do the job very well. But for me as a musician, it was a bit narrow, no. But anyway, I was playing with them, and I'm a kind of, I have this anarchist soul. So the Pope, the Catholic Pope, came to Valencia. I think this was in 2007 or 6, and we were invited to play for the Pope, no? So I was like, I all this thing with the church. I consider myself a religious guy in one sense that it's beyond religions, and just a spiritual guy, as all us are, no? But anyway, this was like a big show, no? Like the Pope in Valencia, blah, blah, and we playing for them in the cathedral. So I told them I don't go there. I won't play for the Pope. And so they found somewhere else to play in my place. Okay.
You turned down playing for the Pope?
Yeah. so this is the first chapter. Okay. Some months later, they called me again. At the time I was living in Greece, I speak Greek, and I was living in the island of Crete. And they called me, they say, we have a concert in Rhodes, in the island of Rhodes in Greece. So come, because you are living now there, and come to play with us. Oh, very good, yeah. So I was invited to play Hurdy Gurdy. So we arrived there to the concert, and I started to see a lot of, these security guys that are like, and for me, it sounded, because it was supposed to be a simple gig, no? Okay, very official, of course. You play these nice palaces and things like that. But suddenly, I see the Queen of Spain. So, and she was invited to the concert, but my colleagues didn't tell me, because they knew that probably they had told me that I will play for the Queen of Spain. I will deny to play. So okay, I played the gig, no, in front of the Queen. She was like sitting just 2 meters from me, and the next day, and after the concert, it was this official dinner, no, with the Queen and everything. But also, I didn't want to. I don't like this kind of stuff, like official dinner with the Queen. I was, no, guys. I go to the hotel to eat, a salad, and so and I did like that. So, but all the other members of the band went to the dinner. So next day, we go back to Spain, and she was flying in the same airplane, right? And because of the security protocol, she always sits in the last row of the when she flies in regular flights. She sits and I was right. It was in the third from the back, the third, so really close to her. And at some point, she in the middle of the flight, she comes to me, and she tell me, Efren, actually, so somebody else told her my name, Efren. I really enjoy your concert and this strange instrument that you play. How is it called? And all people around us were Spanish, and I shift to Greek, no, because I speak and she's Greek. And she was, you speak also Greek? Yeah. So I start to explain the instrument in Greek to her. And this is only a part of the story, no? She was really, but then we start to talk about really private stuff. In Greek, I asked her about her husband, and that I don't like so much. And I was talking to her like really open, and she was super cool. And she was telling me, Efren, my dream is, to be in my at home watching TV, and wearing whatever, not being in this official, acts, and it was really, really cool. And actually, when we descend in Spain from the plane, she asked to take a picture. It was so funny. And actually, this picture I have with the Queen of Spain is the only picture of mine that my parents have at home.
Can you send us a copy of that picture?
No. This is totally private. Okay. I would like to burn it, but and my parents they feel really proud.
Yeah.
Of their son, no, because I paid for the Queen ones. Sorry, I know that it's a very long story.
No, it's an illustration of Hurdy Gurdy bringing the world together.
Yeah. So even is an instrument that can amaze even queens, no?
Yes. Wonderful. Well, that'll bring us to our time, Sergio. Unless you have any final thoughts, you good?
It was amazing.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like we could keep talking as with all the guests. I feel like we could keep talking, but we're going to go out with the final tune that Efren wanted to feature, and this is by the band Hedningarna, if I pronounced it correctly, and the tune is Olaf Tillman. Is that correct?
Polska,
yeah, and it's a wonderful tune. I mean, I went through and I listened to these tunes that you were sharing, and I heard that one, and I thought, I have to learn this tune. It really, it's a fantastic tune. Is there anything you'd like to say about it before we play it?
Just very quickly, is something also that I like from this band, and as a philosophy, I really like to build this really powerful sound, just using acoustic instruments. No, the first album is I think they don't even do like overdubs. It's like the three guys playing using only acoustic instruments. It's incredible. It's super groovy album, super in your face. No, and I really like it.
Excellent. Well, let's have a listen. And again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Efren.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Ryan and
for being here, Sergio.
It was
It's
a
wonderful
big
to have
pleasure.
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Sergio, by the way, you now look really like a Orthodox Pope, like a Orthodox priest, Greek Orthodox or